They were called the Silari, a race of light and silence, silver-skinned, ethereal beings whose cities floated in the upper clouds of their gas-giant home. Beautiful, brilliant, but trapped in stillness. They had no spoken language, no music, no laughter. Communication was through shifts of skin light, bioluminescent pulses that danced like electric tide, but carried no emotion. Only data. Pure, clinical, aching in its restraint. No one knew they were suffering. Not at first. The Silari welcomed humanity with dignified stillness, offering mathematical gifts, unspoken maps, efficient treaties. They bowed, blinked, turned away, and everyone thought them cold. Above it all, unreachable, until one human child broke everything. Her name was Leia. She was 9. Her parents were xenobiologists assigned to research Silari nutrient systems. She got bored, wandered, found herself in a vast dome of living crystal, a hall of mirrors and silence, where a single Silari floated in still meditation. Leia did what no adult dared. She sang. A quiet tune from Earth, something about stars and fireflies, her voice high and trembling with childish boldness. The melody echoed strangely in the chamber. The Silari did not move. Until it did. Its light pulsed once, then again. Hesitant, like a heartbeat remembered. It turned slowly and watched the girl. Leia stopped, blushing. "Sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean to. It's just pretty here. I like to sing when it's pretty." The Silari's body began to shimmer, not with the sterile flashes of logic, but with something warm. Slow. Uncertain. The next day, 3 Silari waited in the crystal dome. When Leia returned, they stood in a triangle around her. So she sang again. They didn't move, didn't blink, but their lights shifted, not in code but in rhythm. In response. Not understanding but listening. It spread, not like fire, but like wind across still water. Word got out. Not official reports. No one took it seriously at first. Just murmurs. The Silari liked music. They stayed longer near humans who whistled while working. Their biolights grew richer when lullabies were played nearby. A Silari was caught standing motionless beside a humming engineer for 6 straight hours. No one could explain it. The Silari were still silent, still unreadable. But something changed. When human musicians played in the open courtyards, Silari would gather, quietly, anonymously, hovering in distant clouds. Observing. Some flickered so softly it hurt to look. Others began mimicking vibrations, resonating with the air itself. One day, Leia stood again in the crystal dome. This time, she brought a violin. The notes drifted like colored breath. This time, the Silari moved. One by one, they shifted their light with each rise and fall of her bow, not copying, but harmonizing. A silent symphony. They surrounded her, dozens now, glowing in new tones no human had ever seen. Colors unnamed. Emotions unfelt. Leia played until she cried. Not from fear, but from knowing she was not alone. When she stopped, the Silari bowed. All of them. Slow, graceful, reverent. And from their chests, barely perceptible, a sound emerged. Not a voice. Not a word. But a tone. Low, trembling, as if dragged from a cave sealed for millennia. A vibration layered with grief so deep, every human in that chamber dropped to their knees in tears. The Silari were not cold. They were wounded. For eons, their species had stripped emotion from their culture. To avoid war, loss, madness, they severed voice. Replaced sorrow with code. Buried longing beneath light. But nothing erased the ache. Not until a girl sang to them, and reminded their bones what it meant to feel. After that, nothing was the same. Humans were no longer guests. They were healers. Friends. Musicians began accompanying diplomatic teams. Children were invited to Silari learning halls. Music was not demanded. It was begged for. One Silari sent a melody request, not in code, but in painstakingly practiced phonemes. Please song again. That moment shook the galaxy, because that was the first time a Silari had spoken aloud in over 3,000 years. When they learned to hum, the walls of their cities trembled. When they sang, faltering, alien harmonies, whole generations of Silari collapsed in release. Not pain, not joy, something deeper, a remembering. The human diplomats asked gently why it mattered so much. The Silari elders answered not with language, but with action. They led a human team deep into a sealed chamber at the core of their oldest city. Inside were bones, not of war, not of violence, but of singers, their ancestors. The Silari had once been a people of music. Their entire science was harmonic resonance. Their medicine was sung. Their history recorded in sound. But a catastrophe, unspeakable even now, had broken their minds. The survivors silenced themselves forever to survive it. They erased music, but they could not forget. They carried the echo in their DNA. A wound, a whisper, passed down silently, generation by generation, until a human child's lullaby cracked the vault. They hadn't meant to trap themselves. They just didn't know how to heal. But humans did. Humanity, chaotic, emotional, loud, illogical humanity, walked with hearts open. We bled through art. We mourned through guitar strings. We forgave with choirs. We remembered through lullabies. Our weakness was our strength. And we shared it without condition. We did not save the Silari. We reminded them they could save themselves. Now their cities echo, not just with our songs, but their own. They do not sing like us. Their voices warble. Their pitches slip. Their harmonies are strange, braided, wild. But it is theirs. Not mimicry. Memory reborn. And they taught us, too. Their light pulse symphonies changed how we see silence. Their tones carry shapes, meaning in volume, in hue. They taught us to see with sound. To feel without touch. To witness grief not in words, but in shimmering, trembling resonance. Together, we built cathedrals of crystal and breath. Places where both species can share what was once unspeakable. On the anniversary of Leia's first song, she stood again in the crystal dome. Now a grown woman. This time, she didn't play alone. Beside her, dozens of Silari tuned their harmonics, preparing. And together they sang. The dome lit with color. And for the first time in millennia, the Silari people cried, not with silence, but with sound. The stars outside paused. And every world listening knew. Not all healing comes from war. Sometimes it comes from a child. And a song.